and welcome to this week's String Squad. If this is your first time tuning in, I am Angela, and I'm joined today by Whitney, and we've got Dan behind the camera.
Yes, I am back here. Before we get going, let's just start by saying to everybody we apologize if there's any loud noises or something. They're doing construction on the office right above us. Not sure what's going on.
Yeah, there was a very loud crash earlier.
There was some
worried for someone's
falling.
life.
Yeah, it might. If you hear a loud crash and looks like it's snowing on us, I promise everything's fine. It's just whatever they're doing upstairs. I think they're turning a old server room into a
Yeah, they're turning into offices or something. Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. And shout outs to Whitney over there, who's still getting over a cold and
Yeah.
decided to brave it and come out here. So
The post-conference crud.
yeah, the good old fashion
real.
con crud.
So.
Anyways, let's get right into it.
Sure. Well, for anyone watching from the United States, I hope you guys had a great Independence Day yesterday. For anyone else, we hope you guys just had a really great Tuesday yesterday with a lot of fun. We just wanted to share with you guys, just to start off the show, how we spent our 4th of July. For me, you guys might have seen the post we made on the Facebook page over the weekend. The band 30 Seconds to Mars is doing a project called A Day in the Life of America. It's actually open worldwide, and they wanted people to take footage of how they spent their 4th of July. On the website, they've got a bunch of questions for you to answer based on your hopes, your dreams, your fears, and how you see America. And you can submit that, and they'll be able to put it into their new documentary that they're making. It was originally supposed to close last night at midnight. They got so many good submissions that they're keeping it open until July 15th. So if you guys have any footage from yesterday, be sure to send that in at 30secondstomars.us. And if you created your video using Switcher Studio, feel free to let us know and share the link, and we'd love to watch that as well. So
Yeah.
that's how I spent most of my day.
Yeah, I hung out with my dog and tried to keep my other pets sane during all the loud
I think
booms
I have
and
pictures
stuff.
that Nick sent
Oh yeah,
of your dog. Let me see if I can pull this up.
Yeah, so we went to an ice cream shop down the way from our house, and they do puppy sundaes.
Aww.
And so it's just a little bit of ice cream with a milk bone in it, and it's adorable. She loved it. She was so excited. So yeah, it was mostly keeping.
All right, I don't know where I saved those pictures.
It's
sorry,
all right. We'll
Nick.
post them in the comments later.
Yeah, Doug is pretty
'cause Doug is
adorable.
the
Can we
cutest.
talk about that for a
Like,
second?
I know everyone's partial to their own pets, but my dog is legit the cutest dog in the world. She's adorable. So, but yeah, so that's how I spent my 4th of July, hanging out with my dog. So.
Yeah, I went to the girlfriend's parents' house for a party. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
I went out just golfing in the morning. It rained on
Oh,
us.
cool.
So, I mean,
Well,
there's
besides
that
the
as
rain.
well,
Yeah.
for what it's worth.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, I think it was a pretty fun
was a
4th
pretty
of
good
July.
day.
It rained in the morning, but by the time
It stopped by about 1 or 2.
Yeah, it
so
stopped by the
perfect.
time.
It was actually kind of nice to have it rain earlier in the day, because with all of the people shooting off fireworks and the fallout from those, with
Yeah.
the ground being
that's
damp,
true, yeah.
definitely probably prevented some fires and everything. So that was kind of a silver lining to the rain yesterday. But
Before we get too far into this too, shout outs to Tim and Fernando who are in the comments. Fernando shared out our video, so thank you very much, Fernando.
Yeah,
And
thanks, Fernando.
Tim, always nice to see you in here watching. Hope Switcher's going well for you. But yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, we can go ahead and jump into some of the industry news we've pulled together for you today.
So the first thing we wanted to discuss, this is kind of a developing story, so we'll be keeping you guys up to date with this. But China is cracking down on a new censorship law. And because of that, they've actually been preventing live streaming on some of the major platforms. And this is causing a lot of issue among the Chinese citizens. Their version of Twitter, which is called Weibo, they make most of their revenue from live streaming, and already they've lost about $1 billion since China has started this. So,
Developing story. So if we see any new information come up about this, we'll let you all know.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
yeah. One other thing that's a bit happier news, Avid has a program called Media Composer. It's what most of the producers use in Hollywood for their movies, and they have just released a version called Media Composer First. It's a free version of the software, and from everything people have said who've tried it out, it looks like a very solid program. I think Dan's got
Yeah,
a
I
little bit more
mean,
about that.
I haven't used Avid too much. I've I learned on Final Cut in college, and then I started using Premiere afterwards. I'm kind of, for the most part, self-taught, and I only had to really work in Avid one time, and man, I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't do it at all. I don't know what that says about me, but yeah, I know this new one. You can do up to 4 video tracks and 8 audio tracks, so I think that's kind of the limiting it. But otherwise, it sounds like all their audio features are there. There's some of that construction upstairs you can hear. But yeah, it seems like it's really good, and definitely for like the up and coming younger person wanting to learn how to edit. This is a great thing for them. It's just completely free. It's not like a 30-day free trial or something. It's it's a full editor that you can use. And I know one of the big selling points of Avid is you can do everything right from the keyboard. You don't really need to use a mouse in Avid, which is it's really cool. What?
That's a neat. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like that's one of like the big selling points. And I mean, I like to click around. And I was watching the video with this. There's an article from No Film School, if you want to check it out, that I was reading earlier. And there's a video with it. It looks like they're actually dragging around stuff and clicking and whatnot. So yeah, maybe it is a lot simpler for them to use. I haven't tried it yet. I probably will download it and give it a try. I have a feeling I'll continue using Premiere just because I really like Premiere, and I don't know what that says. Angela, what do you use when you're editing?
I actually use a Sony Vegas Pro for my editing.
Oh, yeah?
I've kind of hopped around with it. I learned taught myself with Movie Maker, but I learned with Final Cut Pro, transitioned into Adobe Premiere, and then I've been using Sony Vegas for the past about 3 years or so.
Yeah. So let's say you download this Media Composer, right?
Yeah.
What would need to be in there for you to transition and not use Sony Vegas anymore?
The hardest thing about Sony Vegas is that it's not intuitive. So once you know how to do what you're going to do, it's very easy, very straightforward, but there's no kind of helpful, this is where you need to go feature. So really, as long as it's streamlined, it's simple to use, and it's intuitive where the menus make sense, I could easily switch over to using Media Composer first.
Okay.
I have zero experience in editing footage at all, so yeah, I can't really contribute to this part of the conversation.
I mean, that's fine. I like I said, I just really like Premiere. I like to use After Effects a lot as well, so that's why I feel like it'd be hard for me to transition. I might just be stubborn and don't want to try something different too. Something else which I mean is a problem with Premiere as well with Switcher Studio, is we're not exactly sure how the codecs are going to match up and all that. Mm-hmm. So you might have to do the trick to get the frame rate constant to handbrake it beforehand or something. Hopefully soon we'll be able to,
test it out and
test that out, and hopefully soon we'll be able to, a little spoilers for the future, maybe use Premiere with Switcher Studio, not have to handbrake and all that stuff beforehand. So. But yeah, I think it's great though. Still, it's a really good move by Avid for what they're doing.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, it's essentially just their main Media Composer program, which is the limitations on the 4 video tracks and the 8 audio tracks, which is great because starting out, people pretty much start with Windows Movie Maker or iMovie, which are both free, and then when they're ready to move on, they're looking at having to buy expensive software. I've seen a lot of people get stuck where they're like, these basic programs aren't doing what I need, but I can't afford the new software. So having something like Media Composer First can be great for people, making that next step where they're not generating income to purchase, a bigger product, but they've outgrown kind of the basics of Movie Maker and iMovie.
Right. Yeah. Good job, Avid. We're proud of you.
Well,
so what else is happening? Yeah,
one other fun thing. Twitch is continuing to make more and more waves. Originally, Twitch.tv was used mainly for gaming. Gamers would go and do walkthroughs and Let's Plays on there. And over the past, I would say about a year or so, they've really started expanding to other genres. They've got vloggers on there, they've got musicians, they've got artists. People are using it for a lot more than gaming. And to kind of celebrate that and get even more people involved, they have updated their app as of last week, I believe. It's going to continue rolling out through July, but I have my update. I know most people have. You can actually go live from the Twitch app now. So if you're doing a vlog, if you're setting up to do a music performance, you can hold out your phone just like with Facebook or YouTube and actually go live straight from the app instead of having to use a computer. Of course, if you have Switcher Studio, we do have that RTMP integration as well, where you can go live that way and add the lower thirds. But if you're getting started with Twitch, just kind of playing around with it, now you can just hit the button and go live straight from the app. It took me about a minute to find where it was. Just go to your profile. When you see your chat feed, there'll be a little button that looks like a video camera, and that allows you to go live. So that's definitely great. I'm expecting Twitch to get a lot of response from that, just with that new update.
Have you messed around with it much? Or?
Yeah, they have that. They've updated the entire app in general, so your notifications, instead of just saying when someone goes live, now you're getting all the notifications you get on the computer for friend requests and for any kind of Amazon Prime link up you might have. For people who prefer dark mode, they've got dark mode settings now, so it's not just the standard app. And they've got suggestions that they'll bring in based on people you follow, channels who stream kind of similar things. So instead of the cut and dry, you can watch someone who's live and that's about it, that the Twitch app's been. Now it's a more involved system at this point where you can really customize it to what you want, find new people just by using the app. Of course, you can still watch it, and now you can go live on your own Twitch channel.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I haven't messed around with the Twitch stuff much.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at it much myself, but I know I was looking around on Reddit earlier, and I think a lot of people are having trouble with the new update on the app, especially the iPad version. But, I mean, from what I can tell, it would be what I would expect from a Twitch app. Not
Yeah,
really
how much of that do you think is it's just something new and everybody's just like, oh, it's a change, I hate
so many
it.
people are afraid
Yeah.
of change, so yeah, I'm sure that's mostly it, but I could be wrong because I'm not a real Twitch user, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, let's see. Oh, yeah. So the next thing is the iPhone has just turned 10 years old. Can you believe that we've had iPhones for 10 years? I mean, like, let's just...
Yeah.
Let me,
Right there. What's that right there?
The iPhone graveyard we have. There's so many. So, yeah, I was like, that's crazy that we've had iPhones for 10 years. I remember my first smartphone was not an iPhone. I had the HTC Evo. That was like, I was like, no, the Evo is gonna be it. That's gonna be the smartphone. So wrong, so incredibly wrong. So yeah, I had the Evo for about 2 years, and then I switched to iPhone, and I've never looked back. And it's really interesting to look at, we've had the iPhone for 10 years and how much the iPhone has driven changes among platforms and everything. We were talking earlier about MySpace versus Facebook, and like one of the reasons that Facebook really excelled at that point when the iPhone came out was because Facebook had a superior iPhone app.
Right. Yeah. For me personally, I was always a huge MySpace fan. I'm one of those people, especially if you've seen it in my social media. Whenever someone creates a new version of MySpace, I'm always the one jumping to try it out. But I got my first iPhone when I was 19 in 2009. Facebook already had an amazing app. MySpace never created an amazing app, and over time I stopped using MySpace just because I could easily get on Facebook, I could easily get on Twitter, I could get on all these other platforms without having to go to my dorm and get on my computer. And by MySpace never really focusing on their app, I think that's really a part of what did it in at that point.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to look at how iPhone has been a driver of some industries like kind of falling off of the map, and then other industries cropping up. So you've got all these app developers, us included, and then you look at something like the GPS industry. Like, remember when everyone had a GPS in their car, like a separate device, and now it's on your phone. So, and now I mean like
It's
10
funny
years
now.
ago.
Now I almost look at my phone and I'm like, oh right, that thing can also make phone calls.
Yeah, I think that's what I use it the least for, to be
Yeah.
totally honest. I rarely make phone calls. I use it as a camera. I use it for social media. I use it to shoot video and everything, but I rarely use it as a phone,
Yeah.
which is weird.
I know for me, my selling point, I've been thinking about an iPhone for so long, and what finally switched me over was I was one of those people, if a song came on the radio, I would try to hurriedly scribble down lyrics and then run to my computer after work and try to Google what it was and then find the song. And a coworker had the SoundHound app, and she was like, look what this can do. And she let it record about 30 seconds of the song. It popped up what the song was, what album it was from, and a link to buy it on iTunes. And I got my iPhone about a week after that. That was all it took for me.
Yeah. And I think what's interesting is that, like, because we don't have any official iPhone 8 news or whatever, but we know that iOS 11 is going to have some more augmented reality stuff in it for developers and everything. It's really going to drive the other app developers like Facebook to embrace the VR and the AR components of
Which is
video
crazy.
interactivity. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nuts. Like, to think that 10 years ago I had a phone that could play music too, sort of, if you had enough space on it. And now I have a phone that is a GPS, that is a camera, that I can send emails and do all this other stuff. And then on top of that, I'll be able to create augmented reality and virtual reality stuff with, like, that's
Right.
just nuts to me.
Yeah.
I remember my first phone, I picked it out because it could play Snake and Brick Break on it.
Yeah.
That was the selling point for
Oh,
me.
man.
That was mine, the Nokia.
Nokia brick.
The Nokia.
Yeah, that Nokia brick. I had the Nokia brick for a really long time, and then I upgraded to a flip phone, and I was so excited because I could.
Was it the Razor?
It wasn't the Razor. It was a Samsung. It was some weird
Uh-huh.
little silver thing, but I got it because you could do actual songs as your ringtone. Like,
Oh, there
that
you
was
go.
just like mind blowing to me in like 2005, whatever. But yeah, it's crazy to think what we can do with phones now 10 years later.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny
iPhone,
how
dude.
like the iPhone kind of just sucks you in too, where I was like you all. I didn't have an iPhone as my first smartphone, and something would always go wrong with it, or I'd install an app wrong or something. I don't know. But I started with like the 4S, I think was my first iPhone, and
Yep.
since then I've just kept upgrading it. It's like the things just work together with it. Sure, it might not be the most powerful, but that's okay for me. It does
Yeah.
the things I need to do, and it runs Switcher Studio, so that's a nice bonus.
And even just the random updates that I don't even know where they come from half the time. One thing, the past couple of months that I love, I'm one of those people that can never find my car. Unless I park in the same parking spot, I can never find my car, which is a problem when I'm at a theme park or at a concert or something like that. Automatically, for the past few months, my iPhone's been registering where my car is. And by the
That's
time I
crazy.
get to the stadium, it says, we have registered your car in the Maps app. And when I get out of the concert, I can literally walk to my car and follow the dot, and my phone knows where my car is. That's just amazing. No more wandering around in the middle of the night wondering where I parked.
I'm sure we can talk about iPhones
Oh, I know we could.
forever.
Yeah,
Forever.
But before we switch gears and go over to, I think, is our strategy piece next? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another cool thing here in the comments. Shout out to Skylar. I think Tim was telling him about Switcher Studio, but he is in elementary school and has his own online sports show.
Oh,
So how cool
cool.
is that?
That's so
That's
neat.
awesome, Skylar.
Yeah, Skylar, if you start using Switcher Studio or Switcher Go, please send us some stuff. We'd love to see what you're
Yeah.
doing. That's great.
And, okay, so I'm going to be, weird about Switcher for a minute, but it's so cool to think about the iPhone has democratized content creation for everybody. Like, now that everyone has this super powerful device in their pocket all the time, like, I can shoot video and I can take photos and do all this cool stuff. And, like, that's not something I could have done. It would have cost me a fortune to go out and buy a nice camera or whatever. And so, like, with Switcher and other apps, like, you can create content without it being, like, ungodly expensive, because nearly everyone has an iPhone, and that's
What do you guys think? Should we let Nick in?
Oh, I guess we can let him in.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to
Everyone, welcome
reposition our
Nick.
shots. Hey Nick, there's a mic right there at your
There's a mic
right on your side.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
That makes it easy.
So yeah, just give me like a hello so I can make sure you have good levels.
Hello.
Keep going.
Hello.
Hey, there we go. What's up? Everyone hear Nick now? Hopefully.
It's great because you came in just in time for you to talk about copyright.
Uh-oh.
It's everybody's favorite thing. Hold on, let
Yay.
me reposition these shots. You're all just gonna get the wide shot for a
All
second.
right.
Yeah.
So we just go for it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
I'm
mean,
late. Had a
we just
call.
got done talking about the iPhone 10-year thing, and we went on for a really long time because we love the iPhone.
Okay. So
So.
I got a few minutes before I need to jump for the next one, but wanted to crash the party. On the Switcher website, the blog,
Yeah.
we have a post that went up about copyright for Facebook.
It
and
went up on
YouTube
like the
and
23rd, but
live video.
you know, we didn't talk about it on the stream where we said we were going to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it now.
Cool. So with Switcher, we see a lot of our users streaming to YouTube and Facebook, and there's lots of other platforms you can send to as well. I think Twitch is one of them that
Yeah.
you're
Mhm.
talking about. With live video, you really have to think about the content that you're streaming and make sure that you own it and you have the rights for that. This is especially important when you get into things like theater performances or concerts and live shows.
Or even athletics. If you
Yeah.
are trying to do interviews or something during like halftime and they're playing music in the background or whatever, you like have to really pay attention. It's event-based stuff for the most part that we see this come up where people's videos get flagged for copyright problems.
Right. So I guess that's maybe a better way to lead with this is on Facebook, on YouTube, there might be things that you're broadcasting that will get flagged because of music or something that's happening during the stream. And we see this especially with athletics. And someone did a runway show not so long ago. There was music over a PA, DJs,
Pageants. Lots of anywhere where you're going to have copyrighted music playing in the background.
pre-recorded in a lot of cases, but we're seeing it with live performances now too. Those streams will get flagged by Facebook and YouTube. YouTube has had a content ID system in place for years. People have created content, they upload it. It was kind of weird at first, but they've continued to improve it. There is at least a system where if a video does get flagged, you can
dispute it
dispute
or whatever
it and
like,
work
get it
through
taken
that.
care of.
In some cases, they'll automatically strip the audio and you'll have a silent stream. In some cases, they'll let the audio stay and they'll put a link to the original author for that music in the broadcast. With live video, it's a little bit harder because everything's happening in real time. So YouTube, you upload it, it chews on it, it sits there, people watch it. Like there's time that happens, and there's time for their systems to react to this. Live video, everything is happening on the fly, and there are robots that are really good at this.
Yeah.
And it's
Algorithms are determining, what includes copyrighted materials or not.
Yeah. So Facebook, especially in the past few months, we've seen videos get flagged in real time on the fly for things that are happening. You could be at a basketball game and it's halftime, and the dance team comes out and they have pre-recorded music that's playing. That could be a problem. That could be something that gets your video flagged. There's not really a good legal system or process in place that allows you to go into an event knowing that's going to happen and make it okay. If you're doing a theater performance or you're a radio station streaming audio, there's processes you can go through to get rights for music, but they're specific to those types of uses. So when you get the rights for a play or a performance, it's for that performance for a live audience at that venue. If you're a radio station and you get streaming rights for audio, it's for that audio to be streamed over the internet. That doesn't work for live video. Those licenses are specific to those certain uses. I'm not a lawyer, full disclaimer. You should talk to your lawyer, do some more Googling on this as well. But this is our interpretation, and this is what we've seen.
Well, and you did take that copyright class, so you know a little bit more than the average Joe.
I did
feel
an
like,
online copyright class with Harvard. It was really hard. It was a long time ago, so it barely counts. But so the point we're making is that with live video, we're starting to see videos get flagged on YouTube, on Facebook, on other platforms. Twitch does this too. The big free platforms have to have these systems in place, because if you don't have the rights and they're doing the distribution, the accountability falls back on them. And it's a lot easier for a record label to go after a big entity like YouTube or Facebook and say, you owe us X million of dollars.
Because you transmitted this audio, and
That,
than it is to go after me who has no money.
And one of the other things is that it's impossible for these big platforms to do it on a one-by-one basis, or to actually interact with us as users.
Yeah, the number of live videos that are going up, it would be impossible for them to employ enough people to handle each of those cases individually. So doing it for live videos is going to be tricky. It's going to be touch and go until they figure out a system that makes that work.
So there are automated systems in place that are flagging videos for copyrighted content, for pre-recorded music, for performances. If there's a video clip or segment that you play from a movie that has content that's recorded, you really have to think about your content and the things that you're streaming and make sure that you own them and you have the rights. Because right now, if you don't, it's going to get flagged. It's going to be automatic. Your videos are going to get taken down. And with these automated systems, if you get a couple of strikes, your videos are going to be removed, your channels are going to be demoted. In some cases, you could even be completely blocked, and your whole account could be prohibited from uploading or streaming new content. So I wish there was an easy answer. I wish there was a link or a website we could send you to that's, I'm going to opt in, I want to pay so that this is okay. That doesn't really
There's
exist.
There's not a simple way to do it
now. So the easy answer is don't do it. Be smart, and have a backup plan. So if you go into an event,
so if you're streaming something and you're at a basketball game and you want to do video, if it comes to halftime, mute your stream, throw up some graphics, do some stuff like that during any times where they might be playing.
Interview a player or do your own commentary on what happened. Probably avoid streaming the dance team performance with the pre-recorded music.
Yeah, I mean, you could even stream the performance. You could just mute the audio. It wouldn't be quite as engaging, but you're not going to get flagged and your stream's not going to get taken down. So you have to kind of weigh what's more important to your broadcast, like what you want to do. So arguably, if I'm tuning into an athletic stream, I'm more interested in the sports part that's happening, maybe not the dance team. But, I mean, I think you can still stream that, but mute the audio during the halftime shows or whatever.
Pageants get really tough.
Pageants are especially hard because the audio happens over top of the performance. So those kinds of things, if you are contracted to do live video for a pageant or something like that, one thing you may consider is where you're going to send that stream to. So Facebook is one of the easier answers because that's where most people are. People are already on Facebook, and that's why Facebook Live has been so popular.
And it's free.
But if you are contracted by a place or a company or an entity that wants you to live stream something where there's going to be copyrighted audio playing over the speakers, you may consider doing streaming to a different place than Facebook or YouTube. It's still going to be copyright infringement if you stream copyrighted audio to something like Livestream or some other destination. But when you pay to do those white label destinations, you also get the benefit.
They're not as big as YouTube and Facebook,
and they don't have the content ID algorithms quite like YouTube and Facebook have. So those are options. It's still going to be copyright infringement, but you're less likely to
automatically.
Well, I mean,
get
if
in
you think
trouble
about
for
it too, like with the white label options, you could do the correct things like you can't do with Facebook or YouTube, where you get the rights to some music or something. Like if you have the white label, I mean, you have the rights, so I guess you would be allowed to do it. So, but I mean,
it really depends
still
on
tricky
how it all works out.
I think the key here is with live video. We saw this with Periscope early on. People were taking their phones and pointing them at their TVs when HBO was playing. It was like, that's clearly copyrighted. Athletic events, like you can't retransmit or restream an athletic event, but people will pull out their phones and stream an entire game. They're doing it on TVs too. They're taking an ESPN broadcast and restreaming it online, and those things are going to happen because the technology's there, but it's not okay. And I think with live video, the types of content that we will see will likely be shifted and shaped because of copyright and what we can and can't do. And it's a big gray nebulous with a lot of not clear answers.
And unclear,
So the most clear we can be is just be thoughtful about what you're streaming,
Yes.
where you're streaming, and have a backup plan. And there's a great post on the website, switcherstudio.com.
Yeah, switcherstudio.com/blog. It's a couple posts back, but it's one that Nick wrote.
You could
and-
probably just search copyright in there and it'll show up.
Yeah, so that should work. But so check that out. It goes into more detail than we're going into now, but this is
We can drop the link in the comments.
kind of quick and
Yeah.
dirty version of copyright for live video. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, it is 2:30. I have to jump for another call,
Okay,
but I'll let you
turn your
all
mic off.
take it from here.
Can you get your mic off?
Bye.
Cool.
Yeah. Now that we've talked about copyright, let's move on to something a little more exciting, more fun. So we like to highlight and feature users that are creating cool stuff using Switcher. And the past week or so in our user group, we got a really cool post from the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. So Nick has gone to a couple conferences in Amsterdam, like last year, and I think the last couple years he's gone. And he stopped by the Van Gogh Museum just to pick up like a cool eyeglasses case that's got Van Gogh artwork on it. I think it's really cool. But interestingly enough, they're now using Switcher. I don't know what we did to get their business, but I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago.
Here
You get the
is
video?
Some of the video. This is just a
Yeah.
little bit of it.
Yeah, so they did a stream talking about a new movie that has come out about Van Gogh. It was really interesting. And this stream has gotten over 200,000 views, which is huge. And then they also did another live video where they did a live demonstration of people painting like Van Gogh. And that video has gotten over 700,000 views. And so they're doing a really great job, promoting this new movie and doing interviews with the cast and crew of the movie. And it's just really, really cool to see how people are thinking to use Switcher to promote different things. So they're the Van Gogh Museum, so it's really cool they can talk about the museum, but they're also promoting this new movie. And I think they're going live tomorrow at 2:15 Central European time. So you might have to check out what the conversion is for the time zone that you live in. But I know I'm going to be tuning in because the last couple broadcasts they've done have been really, really
Here's
great.
their web, or
Yeah.
here's their Facebook page if people are interested.
Yes,
Let
so
me get
it's the
rid
Van
of
Gogh
that
Museum
there.
in Amsterdam. Definitely check out their next live stream. Their last two have been incredible. It's been really, really cool to see what they've been doing with Switcher.
I'm not really a huge art guy. I'm gonna be completely honest as far as that. But even I was like really interested in what they're talking about.
Go into their videos and check out the live stream from where they did the live painting. That was really, really cool. And I think they're doing a good job showing what you can do as a museum nonprofit. A lot of times nonprofits don't have a lot of resources, and so Switcher makes it easy to do live video, and they're using it to promote the cool things that they're doing and showing people how cool the mission is at the Van Gogh Museum. So I was really excited about it. And check out their stream tomorrow, 2:15 Central European time. I just got an update on the time a few minutes ago. So it's 2:15. It was supposed to be at 2 o'clock, I think, but now 2:15. So check it out.
And definitely, if anyone watching has, something they're doing for their business or their company, using Switcher Studio that they want to share, feel free to do that. Or if you know of a business or company who is live streaming and using Switcher Studio, send those to us as well. We're happy to reach out to, whoever is running the show there, and that way we can keep featuring just examples of what people are doing with the software week after week.
Yeah, we love seeing what you guys do with the product, and we like sharing it with everyone else, because I think sometimes, for someone like me who doesn't have much of a background in live video, it's really cool to see what can be done, because then it gives you ideas on what you can do with your streams. So I think it's really cool to see all the stuff it's like my favorite part of any day is checking out the new streams that we've seen from Switcher users. So definitely send us your videos. Hashtag Made with Switcher is the easiest way we can find them. Yeah.
Hey, before we go any further, Mike had a question about the copyright stuff. He was saying
I'll see if I can answer it.
Well, I think I can answer it.
Okay.
And hopefully. But he was asking if I mute the audio in Switcher Studio, can I do that interview? So no. Well, there's a couple different things you could do here. So I think obviously if that noise is in the background and it's loud enough, it's going to get flagged still. So you can maybe bump your mic really loud, or I mean, you obviously don't want it peaking or anything, but if you turn that up a little bit, you be able to have that blot out enough of the other audio, so you might be okay that way. What I would recommend doing is, of course, you might want to give like an update halfway through, like at a sports game or something. But you could do interviews with people beforehand, and then you could,
insert those interviews later.
Yeah, tee those up and be like, hey, before the game or before the performance, I was able to sit down with this person. Yeah. Here's what they had to say, and play that. So,
and that's an excellent example of how, you can use Switcher Studio to solve that problem.
Right.
So if you were streaming with just the Facebook app, you would just have to deal with it and probably have your stream taken down. But with Switcher, you can insert that pre-recorded video and throw that in there. One thing you might do is kind of test your stream before you start. So oftentimes when you're like at an athletic event, for example, when the team is practicing, they'll have music playing over the speakers. Test your mic and see how much of the outside volume comes in to your mic. So if you have a lav or if you have a handheld mic, talk into it and see how much of the natural audio that's coming in from around you comes in over top of what you're saying. So that can be an easy way to say whether or not you can do an interview during halftime or not. And then if all else fails, you can see if you can pull them to the side away from the main arena type space wherever the music is coming from, and that'll help as well.
Yeah.
It's
I wish there was a clear cut answer, and I really want to get.
Just tricky.
Yeah.
I feel like the internet is always a few steps behind when it comes to copyright. Like when I was in college, I worked for the university radio station. We were an internet radio station, not an over the airwaves radio station. And so the rules for college radio or internet radio at the time weren't very clear. So even though there were no clear-cut copyright rules for what audio we could stream over the internet through our college radio station, we still bought the rights to the music in the traditional manner for over the waves radio station. So, it's the technology improves faster than the policies do. So it's just, it'll be a little bit of a waiting game, but I feel pretty certain that eventually we'll get to a point where Facebook and YouTube and the major streaming platforms will have systems for reporting the content that you plan to stream, or if you have rights, you'll be able to report those to them. So it'll be slower than we would like, but it'll happen eventually. I feel pretty sure.
I feel like just as Facebook Live and YouTube streaming there gets more popular and people are starting to monetize that a lot more.
Yeah.
I think you're going to start seeing that where a lot of backlash over, hey, my stream's getting taken down and I've done everything right. What gives?
Yeah.
And one other thing to kind of look out for, it's actually something that happened to me with a recorded video 5-6 years ago or so on YouTube. Kind of look around your environment as you're setting up and look for things that might not be obvious but can cause a pitfall. What happened with one of my videos, it was taken down. It wasn't a strike, thankfully, but I did a video with two guys interviewing one another, and they were in one of the gentlemen's homes. There was a TV on in the background, very small, but you could still see some of the definition. It was a cartoon. So I uploaded the video, and it got flagged because it could still see that television,
That's crazy.
Cartoon. So even with things like that, kind of take a look around, make sure nothing is going to come out, because luckily in my case, it was a matter of resizing the video, re-uploading it, and we're fine. But that's something that could lead to a strike, or especially if it's live, then your live video is gone at that point.
Yeah. So for now, try to do things right, and eventually the systems will catch up with the technology. That's kind of the short answer.
Yeah, that's about as good as we can say. Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yep.
Banging my mic around.
Well, do we have any more comments or questions? or anything out there?
Those are the big ones right there.
Cool.
Of course, people are
Yeah.
copyright it. What can you do?
I know.
Yeah.
Gosh, I wish we had a really clear-cut answer for you. Unfortunately, those answers don't exist yet.
Mhm.
But we'll keep you up to date on it. Any advancements in the technology with Facebook or YouTube, as far as live streaming and copyright go, we'll be sure to update you and update the blog and everything. So, yeah, we'll keep you up to date. That's what these are for, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I mean, I think we're
Yeah, I
just
think
about
that's just
wrapped up.
about yeah. That's all the time we've got.
Yeah, we will jump in the comments and talk to you guys. I'll post pictures of Doug, my adorable dog, and we'll post a link to the blog and all of that fun stuff too. So we will check you guys next Wednesday.
Yeah. If you want to keep the conversations going and whatnot, you can move over to our Switcher Studio Enthusiast page on Facebook. You can search that. It's just a quick little. What is
It's
it?
like a quick survey.
Survey,
Yeah.
thank you. I was like,
Yeah.
interview? That's not
What's
the
the
right word I'm
word?
looking for. Yeah, just a quick survey is all it is, to let us know how you found out about us, and we'll invite you in, let you do that. Of course, if you have other questions, you can search our knowledge base at switcherstudio.com. Check out the website there. We have tons of blog posts on all sorts of stuff to make better video.
Yeah, you can search the user group as well. A lot of
Yeah,
questions come
yeah.
up there. There's a keyword thing where you can search within the user group and you can see how other people have responded to questions of a similar nature.
So yeah, keep the conversations going on there. Check for stuff at the blog. We're always putting stuff out there. And if you still have other questions, you can, of course, email us at support@switcherstudio.com.
Yeah, and of course, if you guys, as we mentioned before, want to share any videos that you've done or anyone else has done using Switcher, definitely pop those in the user group. And also, if they're on any other social media like Twitter or Instagram, use the hashtag #MadeWithSwitcher. We do go through that tag a lot, and that way we can see more of what you guys are doing, and you'll get a chance to be featured on our show.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.